Hey, howdy, hey, friends. I am back. It has been about 12 days since my last update, and I wanted to start this video by saying you are in my kitchen. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but we are renovating. All the walls used to look like this. My husband is a carpenter contractor, and so we've been fixing everything. The ceiling is next, and once everything is mudded, we can sand and I can paint, and there won't be like just stuff everywhere. We're getting new floors too because these ones, they're pretty bad. So anyway, we are fixing up. So please don't mind the background as I record this. But I wanted to give you an update about the seeds. Here everything is. This is almost 2 weeks later, and things are quite literally just exploding. So what started with what I thought was going to be a total bust for most things has actually ended up very well. Let's address something when it comes to seeds about covering them. So I brought my seedlings in here because there's a door right here and I'm about to put them outside. So when you are starting seeds, some people will use humidity domes, and I do have some seeds that I started last week. I did record that process, but I never edited the video and uploaded it. I still can, but we're getting past the date of when you can start those things. So maybe I'll edit it and post it still, but clarify the dates of when those things can be planted, at least in zone 5. But anyway, so I do have a humidity dome for some of these seeds. However, you can just start seeds in soil. You just want to make sure that the soil is consistently moist. You do not want it drenched. Take the bag of soil that I have, the seed starting soil, and I will, in the bag, just put some water and mix it around, and I squeeze it. And you want it to come to a ball, and when you squeeze it, you don't want water to drip out. If water is dripping out, it is too wet. You want it to hold shape like a ball without dripping water. That is the perfect happy medium of soil that works. And all this stuff worked, and some things didn't come up until about a month later. Now, what I think happened was last year we had moved back to Pennsylvania, zone 5, from Florida when we were zone 8B. And my seeds were packed up in a tote on a U-Haul for a few days. And when we left, it was 106. And so they were hot. And what I think happened was I think it really zapped a lot of my seeds. I don't think it was a covering issue. I think many of my seeds were zapped. The things that did want to sprout, they're doing great. Now we are doing the hardening off process, which is simply you want to take your little baby seedlings and you want to put them out for about an hour or so each day in indirect light and let them get used to being outside. Thankfully, we have such a nice warm week this week, and I actually left them outside all day yesterday. Now, time will tell if that was a horrendous idea or a great idea, but I mean, just look at these little cabbages. These are Copenhagen Market cabbages, and we have our first little leaf there. They're just doing so well. And then, I don't know if you remember, I reseeded some pansies. We have 3. What's hysterical about this is that I just went to Walmart the other day, and they have massive, in this size, but they're huge pansies already grown, and they're gorgeous. And I have these little sprouts. Who knows if these will even flower? By the time they flower, it could be way too hot for them, but they're going for it now, so it's fine. And then I reseeded my pepper seeds, the Orange Sun, and now I'm getting a bunch. And I have to separate these. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's another guy right here. I don't know if I will keep him. Anyway, things are going very well. I potted up some kale. This is kale. They were insanely leggy, and I potted them all the way down. With kale, you can bury them up into their leaves. I think hopefully today, we are in our last full week of homeschool, and hopefully today or sometime this week, if I can find the extra wiggle room, I need to go get some compost, because what I have done is I've taken some sod and I flipped it upside down from a brick pathway that we found. Some of it is like 7 inches deep, so it's a good depth, but it's not great soil. It's mostly like grass roots. So I made them in rows without wood. I'm doing things as affordably as I possibly can. And I'm just going to grab a couple bags of compost and put them over top of the rows I've created, the raised rows I've created with the sod. And I will plant some root crops and stuff like that. There's lots of things that we can be planting now, and maybe actually we should go over that. What are the things that you could be planting directly outside right now at the very end of April? Today's the last day of April. And in Zone 5B, where I am in Pennsylvania, this is I think we are like 4 weeks out or closer to 3 weeks out from our last frost. I think 4 weeks. No, 3 weeks, I believe. So, anyway, these are the things that you can plant directly in the ground. You can plant lettuce, arugula, carrots, spinach, kale, beets, radishes, turnips, parsnips, peas. Those are things that you can plant directly in your garden. Those are things that I might plant. There might be more, but those are the things that I know of. And then the things that you could transplant, and this is why I'm hardening off my little baby seeds, are onions, lettuce, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, arugula, spinach, cauliflower, kale, and then any type of berry. So strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, those can be planted outdoors right now. They can all of those things, if you have them, as long as they are hardened off, they can handle some cool temperatures. Now, the berries are going to be a little more hardy than tiny seedlings. Like, for instance, that is why if you had things inside and you were planting them up, let's say broccoli and kale, and you just stuck them outside, they would die. You have to do the hardening off process, and you put them out. Like on day one, you put them out for an hour in indirect light. On day two, you put them out for 2 hours, and then you just keep increasing the hours until they're out. And then once they're out for about like 7 days, you can start putting them in a little bit of sun, and you just keep it's making them stronger. They get used to the wind, the sun, everything. So when I get compost, I will make a video and I will show you how I am going to be putting things directly in the soil and what we're going to be starting. And I'm doing this all knowing that I probably, if our house sells, we're in the process of fixing our house to sell it. I might not get to harvest any of this, which breaks my heart. But it's just the joy of gardening. There's something about being outside in nature. I'm sure you can hear the birds right now. There's just something about it. It's peaceful. It reminds me of the way that God intended. God placed Adam and Eve in the garden and he wanted them to tend to it. And it's just so regulating and so calming. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And, oh, Mama Robin is coming back in. Anyway, we'll see you again soon. Bye.